You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's The Sing-Off After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's The Sing-Off After Show.
It is indeed, and I am Steve Bottomley. I'm joined in the studio by
Kimlai.
And here we go. As you can see, we have one of our favorite hosts is on the road, and she's joining us via Skype. So there's going to be a little learning curve today. But Tamara, are you with us?
I am with you. I am from Seattle, and I've got my coffee, and we've got snow on the ground. So it is a different world up here.
And we also have Kimlai with us again.
I'm sitting here staring at Tamara. Hi, everybody.
So we have a lot to cover. We are going to recap 2 episodes, a 2-hour on Wednesday and a 1-hour from Thursday. And,
so it's episodes 5 and 6.
Episodes 5 and 6. So let's get into it because there's a lot to cover. First on Wednesday was movie songs.
Right.
And I was pretty excited because I like movies and I like songs. So I thought, hey, this is going to be fun. And it was. The opening was Time of My Life from Dirty Dancing. Yep. And first of all, let me say that I think Wednesday, not to blow our own horns, but I think Wednesday we got a lot of maybe you guys were right in your notes, right?
We love you. The comment.
Yes. There was some. I can't think of the word right now because I'm hosting. Anyway,
are you talking about YouTube comments on our podcast?
No, I'm talking about like the notes we've been saying back and forth about, they should do this or they should do that or we're missing it. And I've got them listed.
We're kind of accurate.
I'll knock them when I see
Yay!
them. There you go.
Okay, cool.
I told you.
Anyway, Time of My Life, Dirty Dancing. That was the opening number. It was interesting. Honey and Tim are the first to walk out together. Did that ring anything for you, Tammy, when you saw that?
No, not really.
Not at all.
What do you think?
Well,
I mean,
are
you talking about something specific?
The only thing was last episode we were talking about how they're really pushing Honey, how they're really pushing Tim, and those are the first 2 we see. And I'm like, well, okay, not that they're pushing, but they're back. I've got some, my thoughts on it. I'm going to hold. Tammy, what did you think about the opening for that show?
Basically, I mean, I really liked it. I thought it was outstanding. I thought it was an outstanding number, and especially to the build. But then after the build, it just kind of laid flat for me. I love the song. It's iconic. And, I don't think it was one of the best group numbers. And the group numbers tend to be incredibly good. So I would say that this one was pretty good for me.
Kimlai, what do you got?
I did not care for the opening. I didn't like Tim's voice with Honey's voice. I thought everybody else that were paired up were fabulous. I liked that everybody got to sing. It seemed like we saw every single person sing. But I did not. It's like, whoa! When they came out, I'm like, Honey, Tim. That is just it didn't sound right to me. I didn't like the way their voices gelled.
I'm with you on that. I'm guessing, again, it's the live versus television issue because the sound must be better live. And a lot of these song choices, I just don't feel the energy that has got to be in the studio. I just don't feel it transferring over onto TV. And I don't think that was the issue last season. I remember a lot of those opening numbers where I was like, into it and we were rocking and having a good time, and maybe it's just the format, I'm not sure, but I think the song choices on this season have not been as powerful and as dynamic.
I don't think so either, because you guys remember the last one too, the last episode, it was the same thing. It was like, whoa. Well, for me it didn't do anything for me. Like I could have just not even watched it. You guys asked me about it and I'm like, oh, the opener?
Yeah.
It didn't do anything for me. It wasn't strong.
Yeah. Anyway, that was the opening for that one. Then we went right into Home Free.
Ben called them home fries. Thank you very much.
I know. I wrote that down too.
Right?
That was one of the first ones where I went, oh, look at that. Check on us.
Yeah, a star on my notes too.
There you go. Okay, that was an interesting package because they do the whole high noon country, the old Western, we're going to have a gun for you. And then right out the gate, they say, well, we all love chick flicks. So, like, really, after that package, you're going to talk chick flick. Okay. It was a good package, though. And then Pretty Woman by Roy Orbison was their choice. Now, Jewel note on that was, you got to keep room and space. You got to open the song up and keep room and space. And I thought they pulled it off. I liked Tim. I like how he opened it. It was very nice. And they did have a nice open arrangement. And it was, I'm not going to say that. Kimlai, what do you got on that one? Sorry.
I really liked the hey, hey, heys.
I loved that.
It didn't go like that. Hey, hey,
Yeah.
hey. Oh my gosh, it just stood out. I was like, whoa, they did something different.
Right.
Even though it was just, that. I love the helicopter sound. I was trying to pay a little more attention to some of the percussion. And I loved that. It was like, whoa, I felt like I was moving with them. I loved the look. I loved their sound. I loved the mix. And I think Home Free hit a home run.
Oh, my God.
That was so cheesy.
No, well done, though. Tamara, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I liked that they did it in a faster tempo and with sort of a doo-wop feel to it, because that is a little different from how they've done their tunes before. I loved the hey. I thought it was fantastic. And, it wasn't something that was terribly complicated, but it was something that added a really nice sort of, grace note for, it's not the right term, but, a nice little percussive, activity that was different from how we've ever heard that song, but it fit in perfectly. The breakdown to the solo that they gave to Jewel, I thought was really fun. I liked that very short drum solo that the percussionist did. Yeah. And then just on the notes that people were giving, when Sean was imitating how easy it is for Tim to sing like butter the way he does, Sean was just cracking me up because he's like, that is really hard for most people to do, and you just kind of stand up in there and go, do something, and it was just hilarious. I just thought it was so charming and so funny. And I love that Ben called them home fries.
And again, this has already been taped, but sometimes you wonder, did they go back in time and listen to us? Because I think they did. I think they did because
you guys were just that good.
They were just a lot. They just seemed looser on Wednesday. They're just starting to. It seems like they're starting to relax.
Looser in a good way.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The personalities of who they are starting finally coming through. And again, it may be that because of this, compact schedule, it may be maybe really, really frantic over there, and you don't have the feeling of you've got the time.
But the thing is that we're seeing this in 2 weeks. But it was shot over, I from what I can tell through when they were announcing things and stuff like that, I think it was shot over 2 months.
Yeah. Well. So
I think while it looks quicker to us, I think it was actually longer than when they were doing the live season.
Then
that would make sense.
Maybe they have had time to kind of, roll in and really gel as a group for all of them.
The only thing I was noticing on that song with Home Free was the harmonies that they use are really starting to sound familiar. They're starting to kind of like, oh, you're hitting that scale again, you're hitting that break again, and that was the only thing. When you get to this level, everybody sounds good, and you have to really listen to hear stuff. And who wants to do that? So much easier to just watch. Then Vocal Rush came up, and they did Against All Odds, or as everyone else knows the song, Take a Look at Me Now, right? By Phil Collins. Now, Jewel's note to them was they need range, and they need to utilize their vocal depth. Tamara, what did you think?
Well, the notes that I wrote were that it was full and it was a really beautiful arrangement. I like that it was kind of jazzy. I'm not usually a big fan of the jazzy arrangements because they can be dissonant sometimes, and that's not as appealing to me as some of the other melodic choices. But I thought it was really good. The Kiana, I think she was the soloist before they did the drums.
Yes.
She was just fantastic. I mean, she was just fantastic, and I know it's kind of part of their gimmick and it doesn't really matter that much, but I love that they're high school kids. And, one of the things they were talking about was how they can connect they do connect in a different way to everything than the way some of these older groups do, because they just haven't had all that, soul crushing, life killing experience like we've all had. Since
Give them time.
high school.
Oh my God.
And I think there is a certain amount of freshness and guileless that they bring in. But then to add to it how strong they are as singers and how professionally they present themselves, they've just got the best of both worlds. I thought it was a great, great tune for them. And side note, I want to talk about Jewel and that braid she had around her hair. It was so beautiful.
Kimlai, do you have anything to say about Jewel's braid?
Yeah, you know what? I actually, can you hear my stomach?
No, I can't.
Oh my
but
goodness.
If you'd like to adjust the mic.
I actually thought that she looked so beautiful in this one.
She
I mean,
really
it was
did.
like she was glowing, like she had this light above her or something. It was so weird.
Yeah.
But a
What
good
do you
word.
think
Okay,
about the
so
performance?
back to Vocal Rush. You guys, I watched this twice. Yes, I actually
never
hit
happens
that
with you.
rewind button. I just thought it was an insanely mature performance for them. I really liked the percussionist singing the solo. I thought it was great that I didn't think she looked nervous, and even if she had a little, her voice, was a little what do you call it? Like shaky.
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 I guess I didn't notice. I thought that was, I don't know, I thought that was part of her thing. Jordan also, I thought, has an amazing voice.
Mm-hmm.
And I really liked, on this one, Ben, it's like he came back. He critiqued a lot more. And I really liked hearing his critiques. And as we'll see, he obviously does more. But we were talking about that at our last recap, that we're not hearing enough of Ben.
Right.
And that's who we actually want to hear more from.
Right.
So I was very pleased to hear more from him.
Well, shout out
agreed.
to Kiana, because that is incredibly difficult to start a song solo just out there. It is so hard to do, and whether she was nervous or not, she just nailed it. So good for her.
You guys, what did you think about that whole where she was singing and then went straight into doing percussion? It was like la la la.
Well,
Yeah.
again, I think Ben said it best, where he goes, "That's you were so happy to get back
So
into
awesome.
where you were comfortable." So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that was I really enjoyed it too. Next up on the platter was Acousticats. They went with Old Time Rock and Roll by Bob Seger. Jules' note on that was that she wanted them to create a picture. She needed consistency, and interestingly, she wanted technique over show, and that's kind of been their note. You guys are a good look boy band, but do you have the chops? And I think that was kind of their first push into you have to step up and start showing us that. I thought that the high note that they were hitting, that was nice, but for me, the transition, it just felt clunky. Although Ben really liked them, it just felt kind of like we need to do this. There's so much to use, not sure where to go with it. And I thought they missed an opportunity, because I like the gimmick of pulling the pants off and going into their underwear, which is, the bit.
Yeah, I think you have to do that.
But they missed an opportunity of
They
using
did.
like 3-part harmony as those pants come off. And these are the times where you have to use every opportunity.
Yes, they should have used the floor and slid in.
There you go. Everything that they can think of.
Each coming in with a different note. No, I'm just kidding.
Tamara?
Yeah, it felt a little too choral-y for me. And, the choral kind of genre. I mean, it was fun, it was energetic, but my notes are actually very similar to what Ben said. He said there were an awful lot of styles in that song about rock and roll. And, that's one of those things where it depends on how you interpret it, whether or not you like it. If we're bringing in a lot of song styles, it can show how versatile we are and how, what all we can do. And for me, it just, I felt like it didn't really capture the spirit of the song.
Totally agree with you. Totally agree. I thought it was fun to watch. It was like watching a little bit of a show, but I don't like how they cleaned it up. I don't like that chorally sound, not for a song like this.
Yeah.
And I made a note that I feel like all the groups that are still participating at that point have grown. They've all taken notes. They've all grown from them. And I really do feel that Acoustic Cats are the only ones that haven't grown as much.
Interesting. And you do have to. You just have to listen to them. I think if you're going to use all of those different genres, I think you have to be able to tie them in at least visually, and take them somewhere. So
Yep.
Then after that, we went to Philharmonic. Don't Want to Miss a Thing by Aerosmith. Jewel Notes. She thought it was going to be very risky. They were either going to hit a home run or it could be a bust. She wanted to see more tenderness and emotion. She did hit on some of the emotional to a couple of the different groups, and this was one of them where she wanted to see more depth. Tamara, what do you think of that?
I felt like it was a beautiful song, and it was very much in their wheelhouse. It was something that they weren't going to be stretching a lot doing, but I felt like it was less layered than some of the pieces that they've done in the past. And, and so in that sense, it was a little bit of a miss. I thought that was very interesting about Ben's note with the beatbox and cymbals, and that he felt like they were unnecessary. And especially in this kind of song, I tend to agree with him. We'll probably revisit that note later for last night's episode. But I kind of agreed with him on that note.
I also really like Ben's dissertation on beatboxing and the right way to do it. And it's an amazing example of how deep his well of musical knowledge is. And, the reason why you don't want to do a cymbal, and that sort of thing. It was great. What do you think about it?
This was not my fave. This was not my favorite at all. There was no movement. I wrote down, it's like, I would like to be in Ben's brain for just 5 minutes. 5 minutes. That's all, because that's probably all I'll be able to take.
You can pitch that. You can pitch that show, by the way. Ben's brain.
Ben's brain.
In 5 minutes.
In 5 minutes.
I thought the package at the beginning was another R word was ridiculous.
Yeah,
There's my R word. I didn't really care for the package. I started paying more attention to the packages since you were talking about it at the last recap. It wasn't my favorite, but I thought it sounded good, but it wasn't a fave.
You know what they did right though is they what we were talking about. They focused on the front man. They didn't make a lot of busyness behind. They let him carry it. I thought that great. The other thing was the judges, they were really having a lot of harmony issues, and I was not hearing those harmony issues. So again, it may be a live versus television thing. That was just a note that I kept, I don't know where you guys are hearing that, but they were hearing that.
Yeah.
Voice play was up. They did Don't You Forget About Me by Simple Minds. Jewel notes were that she wanted the singer, and I just forgot. Honey, thank you. Show more heart and be more transparent. What do you think, Kimlai?
I like the breakdown. I like the individual breakdowns. I thought she was, I definitely think she was a little more transparent. I like that I could hear what I wrote down. I like that I could hear every single part. It wasn't, oh boy, this is so bad. It didn't really do that much for me. I wasn't really wowed. Gosh, did I watch this one? No, I'm just joking. I'm just kidding. I wasn't wowed by it. I had a feeling that what was going to happen to them happened to them.
Tamara?
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah. Well, in the package beforehand, Jewel was talking to Honey and said she wanted to see the assimilation of the angst, And I think that that's a really common note for performers, because especially this, I think it's fascinating that this hasn't come up with Vocal Rush, because it takes a little bit of experience to sort of understand that assimilation of the angst, because you think you're conveying it and you're saying it the right way and tears are coming out of your eyes and, whatever it is, my face is crinkled up the way it's supposed to be. But your audience knows when it's not really coming from the heart, right? And so that's what Jewel was sort of talking about. And, interesting, that's sort of how their whole performance went, because as they went, they came out as the nerd and the, jock and all that kind of stuff from the Breakfast Club. And I loved how they stripped their identities as the song progressed. I thought that was really cool. And interesting, again, it always makes us smart when we say something and then Ben says it too.
Yep.
And, he talked about that. So that was cool. The break it down and what did I write here? The break it down battle at the bridge of the song. I really liked that.
Yes.
But then I didn't like the end, the last chorus with Honey on the lead. I felt like it was really messy.
I'm nodding because you can't hear me. I am nodding right now.
Okay. Jewel talked about the polyphony,
Yes.
the multitude of sounds coming in. And again, I think that's one of those risky situations where it can either come off really fantastic and complex, but if you miss it at all, it ends up sounding messy. And that's what I think happened in this song.
I totally agree. I think it was a great buildup, and they missed it on the end. It sounded very messy. And there was finally a vocal toss to Ellie, our bald friend, as people will know him. But I was looking at it going, wow, you guys, that might be too late. In that moment when they did that, I was thinking, you should have done that a song ago to start opening up, the depth. And one more thing. Sean's note was, keep the hook of the song alive. And for all you people saying we're purists and you can't make the song your own and all that, Sean said, keep the hook of the song.
Because that's the
alive.
only part. That's the only
right.
most memorable part of the song, though, that people associate with that song.
There is always a reason why a song becomes so popular, and generally it has to do with a hook, and it's just nodding to the life and the song itself.
You can change it up, but with every song there is that main element, and you keep that main element.
And now it's official.
That's right. We were right.
Sean said it. That's going into the official AfterBuzz Sing-Off book. Then 10.
Yep.
10 took the stage.
That was insane.
They got Skyfall by Adele. And it was, Jewel's note was she wanted texture and atmosphere. Atmosphere. Well, that's a word.
Okay, you're making up words. That's good. We're starting to make up words.
Trademarked. Atmosphere is trademarked. Don't even think about it.
Oh my goodness.
Atmosphere.
Or atmosphere. Now, interesting, that was actually one of the smallest note packages. She didn't spend a lot of time with them. Didn't need to, because damn, that was just, the pros are taking the stage and they took everyone to school. Kimlai, what do you got?
For sure. It was my absolute favorite. It was insanely powerful. They had the whole package: vocals, choreography, wardrobe. I really liked Fluffy Head. What's Fluffy Head? What's her? The girl with the blonde, really big fluff.
I don't know her
and the
name.
Madonna teeth. Okay, well, I really liked her taking that lead vocal in the second half. I like that other, I don't know their names, that one girl at the beginning, and then I like Fluffy Head.
I think Dee Dee took the beginning.
Okay.
Dee Dee was the one that brought it.
The other one that took it home, I like that they did that. I like that they switched off like that, because they're both so strong, but she definitely took it to another level. Like she opener, closer, great.
Tamara, you had to have been blown away by that.
I had no notes. I have 2 words on my face.
Same here.
It's gospel and good. So which just tells me I was completely riveted by it. I really don't have anything to say. I just thought it was, it was really beautifully done. And it was a fantastic song for them to choose.
In this show, if you watch for the whole episode, generally there is going to be one of those moments where it comes out of the blue. You don't expect it. I was not expecting anything from Skyfall. I'd heard it maybe twice. And it was, and the moment is you're sitting and you're watching, and before you realize you are so sucked into this performance and you don't want it to end, and you're blown away. And this was absolutely one of those moments. It's always in the show. This is why I love this show. And it really was just hey, here's what we do. Sit back. We're going to school you. And you know, the thing that went through my mind right after was, you got to top it next week. You got to top it tomorrow. Good luck, kids.
You know, I also thought too, like Adele, I'm sure is like extremely proud seeing this, but I couldn't help but because Adele, she's the one who actually, you know, made the. Of course, you know that. I thought they would have been a great background for her doing this song. Because she did it was so strong. Okay, well, let's just move on. I'm gonna go on another.
Why don't you answer your phone? Someone's calling you like
It
crazy.
keeps vibrating. I have it on vibrate, Tamara.
Well,
I could hear it all day.
Sorry.
Seattle.
Sorry.
By the way,
yes.
The robotic version that you bought of Tamara is amazing. The Japanese are doing amazing things about it. You look so real.
Asians rock.
Because I know the real Tamara is somewhere in town, you know, in a bar slash glug house. Well, this was interesting as well because all three had to go into a sing-off, which I thought was kind of cool for a couple of reasons. One, you kind of knew that the notes didn't matter because they were all going to have to compete. And two, although it seemed kind of like a surprise on the first one with acoustic hats and voice play, I think the note was, no, you are all going to join forces and present a group show in your sing-offs. And the first one up was Acoustavac. Oh my God.
Acoustavac.
This is why I don't do this as often
Right?
as any other human. Acoustic Hats versus voice play. They got Eye of the Tiger. I'm going to throw it to you, Tamara. What did you think?
I felt like it was only okay. I mean, I felt Honey was a little bit sharp on her, so I don't know if they were solos, but featured parts. And there was kind of a lot of yelling and people out of breath. I didn't think it was terrible. That's not the only thing I wrote, but, you know, I love the ultimate sing-offs, and I felt like this one was kind of lackluster.
What do you think?
I really enjoyed that. I liked that vocal play stood out a bit more to me. I knew these two were going to be pitted against each other. They were the weakest to me. I liked it. I mean, I like watching them. I think they're super, super fun to watch, but I do definitely think vocal play. I mean, to me, they stood out. Voice play. Vocal play. Who's that?
They're next year.
You made them up. It's our group that's going to go in next year.
Yeah, right?
I'm just going to rewrite all the lyrics with my own words. Yeah, I agree. When you're having more fun watching them with the little things, with the teeth flying out and the Matrix thing, and all of that's really, really creative, but neither one of them popped. And
no.
I just have, it's a wash, but, you know, voice play had more creative bits. So that was kind of
it's a good opener for the next four.
The next four.
Right.
The next two were Vocal Rush
groups.
versus 10.
Yep.
Okay, they got fame. So now you have the kids against the pros. And I just was pretty blown away. I really, of the three, I think this was my favorite one.
Mine too. That's
Really?
what
What'd you
I
think?
have.
Not mine.
What?
Okay, well, we'll get to yours.
That's not really Tamara, remember? That's not really Tamara.
No, it's not.
They didn't program her completely correctly.
Well, what'd you think?
I thought it was an interesting pairing. I really loved that old versus young. That's what I put. I mean, I know they're not old, but you have this, you know, I knew that Vocal Rush was going to bring it because, you know, when you're young, it's like you guys are forcing me to get, it's like that competition mindset when you're young. Well, I mean, you have it when you're older too, but I'm just saying you're more, okay, wow. I don't know where I'm at today. Anyways, I thought it was great. I knew that they were going to bring it. I just had that feeling. Oh, they did. They were great.
Tamara, even though you
That's all I
hated this
got.
one.
That's great. They're great.
No, I didn't hate it.
Caught you mid-sip.
I thought it was excellent. Vocal Rush was just a powerhouse. They barreled on in. You know, to speak to what you said, Kimlai, that, you know, they absolutely were determined and
yes, thank you.
They just did not disappoint. And 10 was smooth in this. I loved the moment where the build came, where they did the iconic remember part. Love that. And when they moved it into the salsa beat, I was like, yeah, there we go. I just, it was fantastic. It was fantastic.
I also thought Vocal Rush I thought their opening was really strong, really focused, and then 10 steps up with the confidence that they have, and it's hard to beat confidence. Even if you can watch a bad comedian, a bad stand-up, but if he has confidence, people are laughing at unfunny stuff. It's just that's one of the best things you can have. And what I thought was really interesting is that both groups, they're kind of discovering themselves at the same time. They're both kind of like, oh, because I don't know if you've heard this, but 10 is new. They haven't worked together too often. I heard that through the grapevine.
Really?
Yes,
Yeah.
this is their 5th time
This
performing together.
This is my news and gossip. 10 is new and haven't worked together very often. But each time they're working together, they're getting deeper and you discover more and more about them. And same with Vocal Rush. They're starting to really take their own and stand up and just, they basically in that sing-off was like, we'll stand up to anybody, even you guys.
They did. They totally held their own.
I think they did.
You know what would have topped it off, you guys, and made this like the most amazing for me?
Whipped cream.
If Kaye Soul would have come out during the salsa bit and danced. That would have been great.
That would have been. Why stop there?
Why don't the producers think about that? Hello.
Let's go back a few, seasons. Then, after those two, we had Home Free versus the Philharmonic. And they got I'm All Right by Kenny Loggins from Caddyshack, which is a fun song. I don't care what mood you're in. You put on I'm All Right, and you could get the worst news ever, and you're going to, I'm going to die. Nobody care about me. You're just, whatever it is, you're going to be singing to that song. It is so much fun. And I thought it was absolutely in Home Free's wheelhouse. I thought they just took it. They knew what they were going to do with it. Tamara, what do you think on that one?
I thought that this was the best song of the season for me. I mean, it had everything in it. The two groups were so perfectly suited to sing together, and this song was energetic, it was fun. They brought in all the elements that, if you know the song, you love about it. Home Free sounded really full. I'm so impressed with how they can create that kind of sound with as few guys as they have. And the moment when the main kid in Philharmonic goes, make it sexy now, it was just funny. They had, the silly gopher moment. I thought their blend of the two groups together was fantastic. They did all those things that I love about the sing-off and about a cappella singing. They did the complex harmonies. They did, the throwing back and forth. I loved it. I thought it was the best song of the season. I know you don't agree with me. It's okay.
No, I was, as far as the sing-offs go, yeah, absolutely. Kimlai.
I wrote down this ultimate sing-off. This one was my favorite. Not the 10 and Vocal Rush. That was great. Okay. But this one, the Home Fries versus Philharmonic, was my favorite. And it's like, these are my two favorite people, my two favorite groups. Yeah. I really liked that they were interchanging with the dancing.
Yes. Yes,
that
absolutely.
was funny to me.
Teaching each other their
and
world.
I even learned something. That whole mermaid thing. It's like I mean, okay, I can't dance to begin with. I'm like, but that whole like if you're a mermaid, and it's like, I never thought of it like that. So next time you see me on the dance floor, I'm gonna be flapping around like a fish.
If they can teach Rob to be a mermaid, they can teach you.
I loved the beatbox beat off. I thought that was so much fun. Is that what it's called?
No. Try again. Say it really fast about 10 times.
The beatbox beat off. The beat off. The beat off. No, the beat off. No, I'm joking.
No, stop
talking. Sometimes it's just too easy. It's like I just opened the door and she walks through.
I loved how they fed off of each other.
I thought so too. I thought the beatbox off. Is what it's called.
Wait, what? The beat box off?
Yes.
But it just makes sense. It would be.
Really? You want to spend a couple more minutes?
Wait.
Yeah, just check it on YouTube later.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, I thought that was the first. We got to witness it first, and it was like, how fun is that? And when they started, I was thinking, oh God, and then it's like, no, you don't. Okay, keep going. That's cool. I really, really liked it. I thought it was a really fun one, and I don't think after this episode, I don't think the judges had that hard a decision to make.
Me neither.
The
Tamara tweets.
The
I was so bummed. Your tweets.
well,
Sorry.
well, that is kind of the bane of the schedule.
I know.
The two that were sent home were Acousticats, and I'm going to pause for a dramatic moment like they do on show.
We're going to commercial. We'll be back.
And Voice Play. Did that surprise anyone? Tamara, did that surprise you?
Not at all. I did tweet though, and they retweeted that it was a bit of an acoustic catastrophe.
That was
Oh.
so
They got
cute.
voted
That was
off.
so
Nice.
cute.
You know, I mean, they were the ones when we had 10 groups, I thought were going to be the winners. As we progressed, you know, things changed with all the performances and with me. But I think as this particular competition went down on this night, they made the right decisions. Absolutely.
Yeah, Kimlai.
These two, I'm not surprised. I actually, you knew watching the episode that these two were going to go. These two were never even a favorite of mine in the beginning.
Yeah, I
They've
know.
never been in my top.
They've never popped for you.
So I wasn't surprised at all.
You know, I thought Acousticats might be in the top 4 only because, generally speaking, the large choral group, but Voice Play is still, I mean, Vocal Rush is still in the top 4. So, you know, it's still happening. The Voice Play vote, you know, I didn't, when I made my note about, you know, is it too late? I honestly didn't know that they were going to get voted off. And I think maybe if they did open it up a little bit more, they could have gone a couple of more rounds. I was really expecting them, I had to kind of pull the rabbit out of the hat and like, this is what we can do. And that moment never came. And you only have a certain amount of opportunities to do that. And you have to grab every one.
Yeah.
You have to keep upping your game.
You have to live each moment.
You do.
like it's your
It's a
last.
good life lesson. They didn't do it. So we were 2 down.
Bye-bye.
And that was Wednesdays. And then the sun set and we were at Thursday. And I was so glad. I was really worried the sun was not going to set. And I was like praying. But before we get to Thursday, I want to give a quick shout out to everyone who is downloading and leaving comments on both iTunes and YouTube. We really appreciate it. We do check all the comments. We comment back when we can, when we have time, and when we're not going to sound obnoxious and snarky. So that's why I only have 2. I will say hi to all of my fan.
You have 20. You have 20.
No, those Twitter.
Twitter.
That's,
Those two are twatters. Darn it.
on
gosh.
YouTube, I have all my
Oh,
fans.
yeah. Somebody said, oh, it's so handsome, Steve. It was so funny. And then my girlfriend Lisa's like, Kimlai's so pretty. Or,
Yeah.
she's so silly.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Well, here's what, Tamara, how's this? You guys, we just got 10 just tweeted. Me and you and Steve.
Oh.
They got your tweet, Steve, and it says they are loving the show.
Oh, great.
Yay!
Hey, we love you guys.
Come on in and
I'm
chat
going to
with
scratch
us.
off. What was I going to say about them?
I've
No,
never
just
said
joking.
anything
I'm just
bad.
kidding.
I think
So
you were
anyway,
going to talk about how pretty I am or how
Yes.
pretty the fans think I am.
close up on this giant screen.
That's awesome.
So anyway, thank you very much for the comments. Keep downloading, keep sending
Yay.
comments, because if we're reading them, probably other people are reading them too. We can always pass them along. We appreciate it, and it does make a difference. Your voice gets talent in here, and that's really, really awesome. Thank you. Season 4, episode 6 happened Thursday night.
Yep.
And it was called Judge's Choice Semifinals. The opening song was from Florence and the Machine called Shake It Out. And I got to tell you, kind of right in the wheelhouse of all the other ones. It was a song, and everyone was there, and they sang,
Singing.
I like that. Yeah,
and
everyone was just
they
there.
danced, and
All
they
the elements
sang.
were there.
It didn't move me.
Me neither.
Tamara?
Me neither.
Okay.
Nope.
All right.
Okay,
so,
moving on.
here's what we did learn in this episode. It is the judges chose the songs for various reasons. One group will go home, and Nick is cute
No, he's pretty.
He's very cute.
and
He's-
pretty.
He's really pretty.
And he's a
That's what he
hottie.
said.
And this is a point that was made often.
Oh, yeah, I said that too. Home Fries they're the ones who said he was pretty.
Now, correct me. I don't remember them giving Nick a notes episode. Have they done that before, Tamara?
Nope, they have not.
So this
So this was new, and it was great because we, from watching the Sing-Off, know Nick as the host, and of course we talk about the fact that he, is in 98 Degrees and he's a talented singer. But last season he sang one song at the Christmas special, and so if you're not really a 98 Degrees fan, most of what we know from him is as a host, and so the opportunity for him to come in and talk to these people and really kind of coach them, I thought it was a really great little insight into what else Nick Lachey does, I thought it was good.
Yeah, it was. I was really surprised that, this was one of those seasons where everybody kind of changed. We don't know Jewel. We know that Ben is kind of trying to find his way, which is kind of
Or he's
odd.
taken Ativan or something. I don't know.
Something's
Like,
happening. Sean has kind of shifted from being the hip, everything's cool, to actually being a producer with really, laser type notes. And Nick is like smart, charming, and he's got music depth as well. So
interesting. And this must be a Mark Burnett kind of a little bit of a tweaking or a retooling. And I think it's interesting, but we do miss our Ben moments.
Yeah,
that's my only criticism of it.
Okay, and Ben, we want you back. So this was the episode where I was kind of feeling, wow, you guys are really starting to feel the pressure now, because they are getting technical and they are nitpicking. And those tiny, tiny little things can put you down at the bottom, and you have to be on top of your game. And that game started with Philharmonic with Baby I Need Your Loving. Now, they were given this to get more of the harmony and the old school Motown feel into their act, their sound. What do you think about it, Kimlai?
I thought it was a really strong opening. I liked the bass. I really only really liked the opening. I have more comments on the fact that I love Ben's comments. Jewel has big boobs, and she talked about not reaching her climax. So that's not good.
Yeah,
what happened?
That note session did take a turn.
They're cover them up. They're so they're human. Why did I just do that?
Well,
oh my gosh.
I'm sure there is an audience for that. And I'm sure they're just trying to hit.
Yes, and he was sitting right next to me, to my left.
I was
Steve.
looking as judgmental to see if it actually worked with the whole.
See, he was
genre.
judging them. I was judging him, and we didn't even watch the dang show.
Sure, make me the
terrible.
perv.
Was no drinking today. No drinking today.
I don't remember.
Darn it.
Well, Tamara, bail us out of this, please, Tamara. What do you have?
Over to you, Tamara in Seattle.
The first half of the song was very traditional and within the style of the Four Tops, and then they did the modulation, which I thought was beautiful. I love it when they do that within a cappella, because number one, it's freaking hard.
Yes.
And number two, it just sounds so pleasing to the ear to hear them do those modulations, and also to do the falls. That was one of the things that Street Corner Symphony and Committed from season 2 were just incredible on. And we haven't heard it a lot this season, and I'm sad because I really like that. There was a lot of snare drum, and I was going to say, Ben's not going to like that. And then he didn't make the comment, or at least we didn't see him make the comment after he talked about them having unnecessary snare drums in other tunes. And it seemed like it was all over the place in this one. But then after the modulation came, I felt like there was no real build for the entire song. It just kind of from there. So that was my thought. I mean, I liked it. I didn't love it.
I agree with you. I thought definitely the harmony slipped after that that step up you're talking about. What they did do, interestingly, is they got the hook of that song right out front, right away. The
opening.
Yeah, basically, I think it was to answer Sean, like, we're listening. But they were given that song to show that they can do their harmonies like old school, and they didn't pull it off. Their harmonies did slip all over the place. Not that anyone remembered after Jewel starts talking about her climax. So, and that was an interesting direction. Now, I don't know if they actually show the order in which they perform, but it's always best to go up after someone who's just nailed it. 10 didn't have that opportunity, but they did come up next with Proud Mary. And man, now the reason they chose that was to make it their own, and they wanted just to explode it. In the package.
Did it explode for you, Steve?
Well, I have a note about the package, which I don't know if you guys know this, but
the package.
They're a new group.
Did the package explode for you, Steve?
No, but in the package they let us know that they're a new group, and they're still just working together.
Yes.
Blew me away. I love the call out to Tina with the way that they opened it with the talking and because that when I was growing up, that was always such a great moment. I remember like my AM radio and hearing Tina Turner say, "We never ever do anything nice and easy. We like to do things nice and rough." And I was always like, it'd give me chills. It's like, oh, rough.
Steve just took it back.
It really explains a lot of who I became. Honestly, I thought Dee Dee, when she steps out, she just brings it. She just took that song to town. It was wow. Isn't again one of those wow moments? What do you think, Kimlai? What do you think?
Well, I thought they totally brought it. Ben said, "Take more risks." I thought they took a risk, but not a huge risk. And I think that they'll learn because, this is only their 5th time together.
Oh, really?
Yes, they're actually, they've never played together until this show.
Are you
Believe
sure?
it or not. They waited to that very first night to actually come together as a group.
Let me write that down.
News. Woo woo.
First time.
So I think the more they are together, this is where I think being with a group and having that camaraderie before the show will definitely prove to work in your benefit because you trust each other more, and I don't think that trust is 100% there yet. So they aren't willing to really take the huge risks that individually they each can do. Because they're all powerhouses, but I don't think there's that full. Maybe they're at 89.5%, though they're at 98 degree amount of trust.
Yeah, there you go. So what you're thinking is because they don't have that history and they don't have the trust. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, even what's that group? The Vocal Rush. They have a history. They trust each other. Like oh my gosh, they totally trust each other.
Well, they're also young and have no idea.
But no. But they've been together. They trust each other to take the risks that they've been taking.
Yep.
And I just think that 10, if they trusted each other more, knew each other more, had more time together, it shows. They would have been like, we could do this and we could do that, but it's just so unknown because they're so new. Did you know that? It's a new group.
Tamara.
I want to piggyback on part of the comment on 10.
Go ride my train. Ride my train.
They're so talented. And, we've been talking about how they're not a group really, or they haven't been until now. And there's something that's kind of not locking or something that's sort of missing that the audience is sort of not getting from them. And it's the word that I wrote is perhaps it's not cohesive enough. And, and it goes back to that interpreting and assimilating the feeling of what you're conveying through the music. And they can do that individually, but in a certain way that lock takes time.
Absolutely.
And certainly people who are all professionals like them can get closer quicker than people who have less experience. But I think that's maybe the thing that we're sort of psychologically not getting from them. But that's certainly not the primary comment about them. I thought this piece was fantastic. I loved that slow, kind of bluesy open. And then when they got it up to tempo, I was like, whoa! It was slightly shouty, but it was very energetic. And yes, Dee Dee, I love looking at her face. I love her voice. I mean, she's one of my favorites from that group, and I thought it was really beautiful. One of the notes that Jewel made was, I don't know your identity aside from being gospel.
Yep.
And I think that was a really interesting note, because they're the one group that really incorporates gospel into their pieces, and I love that about them. But I think that's a valid note, and I don't know the answer, because they can do other things, obviously, and I love the gospel element to what they do. And I wouldn't necessarily say they're a gospel group, but we can't, put the one word sentence or one word or short sentence on what their style is, and maybe that's what the problem is.
I also wonder if perhaps they could be able to get riskier and give more if there were less of them. There's 10. And
I don't think that matters.
Well, but to your point, if there's a lot of them that have just gotten together, that's a lot of dynamic to deal with, and it's like trying to turn.
Oh, so you think
trying to turn a boat. The
a
bigger
few
the
of
boat,
them in this amount of time that they've had.
Right. If there were few of them, they might have been able to break out and get riskier if there were not as many dynamics to work through. The other interesting note I have on them, and I think it's interesting because I thought of it, is the notes that they got from the judges were all, give us more. We want you to get riskier. We want give more. Give us an identity. Everyone else was getting, you need to change this. You need to watch this. You need to, so that right there, that was actually a surprise for me later on, because I had thought they were kind of locked in based on those notes.
Well, but you guys, I think that, they're watching actually right now because they're tweeting us.
Hi, you guys. We think you're amazing.
By the way, the blonde afro, her name is Imani.
Oh, God.
Imani? It's Imani.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Sorry, we're boneheads on that. We don't have
I
the
called her
Bible
fluffy
cheat sheet
head.
binder.
It's like
Pages
pretty
and
fluffy
pages.
head.
But come on, be fair. There are 10 of you.
I know, we know. What is it? I don't even know. You've been saying her name.
We don't get the binder. You just said that, right? We don't get the binder. Okay. Yeah. You're great. Love you.
But you know what, you guys, sometimes I think that when someone tells you, give us more, it's like, it's so hard. I'm going to piggyback on the back of Tammy. It's so hard. Like, sometimes you don't really understand what that means. And that only comes with the experience and the time spent with people for it to actually develop and happen.
It is very generic.
Give us more.
It is a generic note.
What does that mean? Because they're bringing it.
Right.
Agreed.
But that time matters.
Whatever it is, just bring more.
Just bring it, 10. Bring
enough,
more.
Did you bring enough for everyone? Okay, we're running late.
Okay.
Home free.
Yes, go.
Home free.
Sorry.
The reason they got colder weather is because they have yet to really pull off the ballad. Tamara, what do you think?
Rob, the guy with the beard.
Yes.
The Zach Galifianakis. No, not Zach Galifianakis. Zach.
Did you call him an elephant?
No.
Oh,
no.
Oh, God.
Oh.
Anyway, the lookalike. It was just beautiful. His solo vocals in the open was just beautiful. And Austin also, I wrote beautiful 3 times on my notes right here. And I thought the percussion, the entry to the build was really just smooth and wonderful. And I loved it. I thought it was an excellent piece. I really loved it.
Kimlai.
Well, Steve,
yes.
My notes are.
Thank
I'm
you.
just joking. I thought it was such a warm and rich opening. Oh, I mean, it just made me feel so warm. I wanted some hot chocolate. I wanted to sit by the fire with the bass player. Anyways,
maybe they'll tweet.
Was really I'm just kidding. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I was waiting for the build, and then it came, and I was happy. I really, really enjoyed that.
And you were not frustrated.
Oh my gosh.
You felt the song climax for you, do you?
Yes, the song climaxed. It took me there. It took me there. It took us all there. But I love that Rob, Austin, and Bass Dude. See, I don't know Bass Dude. Tim, is that his name?
Tim.
Okay.
We are running late.
So I love that Rob and Austin and Tim all sang. But I still wish they would have gone out of the box a little bit.
Yeah, I thought when you start sitting down, it's risky. You've taken the energy and you've really literally planted it. The way you get over that is with vocal power, depth, dynamics, and all of that. And I thought they did it. I love seeing Rob come out with that great voice, and then you realize they all have that range. Which kind of begs back to my point of like, then break up those harmonies. Go somewhere with them. You know, don't do the standard harmonies that you're doing, because I know that they could just break it out and get up some really interesting, but this may not be the competition to do that in. I don't know. I'm not on stage. They are, and they've been on stage for quite a while. So hopefully they stay. Vocal Rush was up with the longest title of the episode, which is "My Songs Know What You Did in the Dark Last Summer When You Thought No One Was Listening or Watching. He's behind you. Don't go in the bathroom. Why do you go into a dark cellar? You deserve to die." And they got pyrotechnics. I don't care what you're doing. If you got fire behind you, you could be reading a phone book, and when fire goes off, people are going, "Yeah, Johnson! Yeah! Can't wait till you get to the Smiths! Smiths!" I thought the phone book. Follow. I loved it. I thought it was well utilized, the fire. I thought the transitions were smooth, and it was just really, really strong, just front to back. Tamara?
Ditto. It was energetic. The layers, the rap, I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah.
The break it down was amazing. And I loved Jules' note saying, "You sound like an artist." I mean, that's sort of one of the biggest compliments you can get, especially coming off of, 10, who they're not quite sure who they are yet. So this was not to disparage them, but this is the thing that everybody's looking for. We want. What?
Nothing. She's being
Sorry.
Kimlai.
I realized you were talking. I was like, stop.
So the idea that they sound like an artist, and again, they're teenagers. I loved it. I thought it was excellent.
Yep. Kimlai.
Especially the title.
They're teenagers?
Did
we know that they were teenagers?
Yeah. They are. They're from
Just
Oakland.
joking. I really like Sean's comment about them being schmarts. They were schmartzy?
Schmaltz. Yeah.
Schmaltz?
Schmaltz.
Whoops, I should have put liquor. After that, I would have
Schmaltz.
remembered. Schmaltz. I really like that. I like that word. I'm going to start using that. I love the arrangement.
Yeah.
I would have really liked to have heard towards the end. I wish it would have been a little more dynamic. That would have really put it over the top for me. Like if they could have just brought it back down a little bit and then really exploded again.
The only
just
thing,
one more time.
The only note I had on it really was when he went to the rap and he was rapping the lyrics. And I was thinking, man, just throw your own stuff in there. Don't try to rap the lyrics, because it's kind of sounded like you're trying to rap lyrics that weren't written to rap to. I was just thinking, just open it up and throw your own stuff in there and just go crazy with it. Other than that, that was the only moment that I kind of stepped out of that performance. And that was our 4, and that led us to the big surprise for me. The big surprise was 10.
Yes.
And Philharmonic was not a surprise, I'm sorry to say. But if I'm Philharmonic and I discover I'm going up against 10, I think I know if I should stay or I should go. And if I don't know, the judges will tell me. That was the song they got. Should I stay or should I go? Kimlai, you're up.
Okay, that was weird. I just felt like it was a schoolyard fight. And 10 was going to kick their butt.
Yeah.
Philharmonic
had the money, had the milk money.
From the very beginning, it was like there was attitude. There was there's 10 of them.
Yeah.
And it was like, wow, poor people. Bye.
I felt the same way. I really felt like you're watching like the New England Patriots go up against like, a high school team. Like, oh, this isn't going to be pretty. Tamara?
No, it was not fun to watch.
Well, but one of the things that I thought Philharmonic did great in that song is that they kept it really tight, which is one of their assets. And so, they kept their arrangement tight, whereas 10, did the thing that the big splashy stuff that they did, and obviously it worked for them. So,
I was just very surprised that they ended up based on the notes that they got from the judges, which again, the judges were saying only to 10. We want more of you. Give us more of you. Give us more of you.
But you knew Philharmonic was going to be there. I mean, there was only 4 to pick from, though. So
I honestly thought it was going to be Home Free and Philharmonic. So surprise to me. Anyway, it ended the way we thought it would. Philharmonic did have to say goodbye. We will miss them. They were fun to watch.
The boat came and picked them up.
I'm sure they will be back. And we don't really have any news or gossip because we had to do 3 hours, and Tam just left anyway. Sorry, Tam.
Well, I didn't.
Here.
I'm still here.
Okay,
I'm still here. You just can't see me.
Phil just cut you off.
Yeah,
No,
he told me I was gonna. You know,
Okay.
people are sick of looking at me. They don't think I'm pretty. They think Steve and Kimlai are the pretty ones, and that's okay.
Obviously.
Oh my gosh.
Cut my face away. Nobody cares. I'm going to put my ugly teeth in now. One of the things, Philharmonic has been tweeting that they will be back. Of
course.
So
Okay.
I anticipate that potentially Monday's show, the finale, may have some revisits from some of these groups.
They've got to.
Also, not to make it all about me, but I was in a
Let's go, Steve.
you know, a vocal quartet, and we did a Christmas medley, and I will tweet that link later today so
cool.
people can listen to it because it's fun and it's the
Aw.
holidays.
Cool. That's going to wrap it up for us. We will be back Tuesday at 7 o'clock, unless Phil starts screaming at me that I'm wrong. For the
I'll probably be drunk by then, just FYI.
Okay,
Because I'm on
we'll make sure
vacation.
we're
Yes.
like that too. I'll be back in town.
for the finale.
Let's meet up.
Yeah, you are going to be traveling for family stuff. Tamara is still going to be in an undisclosed location. We will see you then. Thank you very much.
Follow us.
Check us out wherever we are. Tamara, you were-
Tammy,
Find
call
us.
it. Call your Twitter.
Oh, at Tamara Berg, TamaraBerg.
Follow me at Kimlai Yingling.
Bottomley Steven at Twitter.
Let's
Thank
get
you
him
very
up
much.
to 30.
See you Tuesday.
Bye, everybody. Happy
Bye.
holidays.
From executive producers
you guys-
Maria
you
Menounos,
can't
Kevin
hear me anymore.
Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.